Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the episode. Welcome back to the podcast, I should say, but welcome back to this new episode of the Badass Confidence Coach. Happy that you're here. So go and grab yourself a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or a glass of wine and figuratively
it's a little early
speaking.
for that.
Well, we're doing this early in the morning. Come on in and sit down and let's have a chat.
Yeah.
Okay. That's how I want you all to visualize this is, we're having a combo together. Okay. So today we're talking about something that comes up all the time, of course, and it's why we get shut down with certain people. So certain interactions with individuals, and you may think to yourself or you say to somebody else, or I've had so many people in my life say to me, I just shut down. And so I wanted to do an episode on that because it's a common occurrence in our lives and people who in conversations that are hard for us.
May you just shell up is what you do.
Yeah. It's like fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. People sort of fawn and maybe freeze. They just like, yeah, not doing this right now. I can't have this conversation with you.
Yeah.
And what really it also is we go into a form of like, we call it stonewalling. That's from the Gottman theory. Stonewalling, where we just become like a stone wall and we're just like, yeah, not doing this. Okay. So, have you ever been in a conversation where your brain just sort of like leaves your body, and you're physically there, but really you're not there. It's like you're just dissociate from yourself. Like you're there, but yeah, you're like, I'm out of here, mentally gone. You can't find the words. And so we're shutting down. And part of that shutdown for many people is I can't find the words. I can't and don't know how to communicate right now. Your mind goes blank.
Yeah.
Right.
And don't you have to be a bit careful with that, right? Because it's like that can be perceived as something very different. If all of a sudden
exactly.
Right?
Exactly. That's what we're going to talk about because, you get like, that you're sort of getting weirdly calm. And what that really is you're starting to numb out. You're numbing, and you just want the whole thing over. You just want the whole thing to stop, right? And so here's the thing: people love to call that, oh, you're being avoidant. You've got some attachment issues there. You're being avoidant. This is immature. Like, stop. Like, you're just not going to talk anymore.
Yeah.
Now you're just not going to say anything. Come on, you're so immature. Or this one of, they're just emotionally unavailable. They become emotionally unavailable, but a lot of the time when we shut down, remember, I'm speaking in generalities here. A lot of the time when we shut down, we can feel like someone's telling us that that's a character flaw. It's not a character flaw. It's a nervous system flaw. Okay. It's our knee-jerk reactivity and how to deal with the situation we're in at the time. Okay. So today, we're going to talk about what shutdown actually is, why it happens, what triggers it, and the exact tools that are going to help you come back sort of online, okay, in your life. So without forcing yourself to air quote, just communicate better, all right, while your body is in survival mode, okay? Because you can't communicate better if your body is seriously in survival mode in that moment, because here's like the spicy truth for all of us. You can't insight your way out of your biology, right? You can't, your biology, your body's doing one thing. That's not a time when you're going to have this insight, right? You got to regulate yourself first. Then you can start to relate better to others. But first you got to work on you.
Is it safe to say some of this stuff is, you can't overcome all of these things?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? Like some of this stuff is just who you are.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is a lot of the work I do with people in my practice. So if this is something that is already resonating for you, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Okay. I'm going to put a link in the show notes, a Calendly link. You can get on my schedule and let's do a discovery call today. Okay. It's a 15-minute call where you get to talk with me about what it is you're dealing with. And I can, share with you, we'll see if we're a fit, and I'll share with you what it is, the work that we will do together. Okay. So, as always, like I say on the podcast, this is general psychoeducation, mental health and wellness and personal development coaching for all of you. This is not, for many of you, it's going to be different what I'm going to do work on with you in your life, what it is that you need. Okay. So don't hesitate, click on that link and let's get on a call together. Okay. This is the work I do. All right. It's relationships, it's personal development, it's communication. And getting shut down is a really common one that so many of us go through, especially with our intimate partners and our family members.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, in a sense, you and I are painting with a pretty broad brush here.
Yeah, we have to.
Right?
We have to. Right.
But when you talk to somebody one-on-one, like you're pulling out those little, I don't know what those little brushes are called, the tiny little ones, right? Those are the ones you pull out in a session, I would imagine.
The best compliment I got, the best, I think, I read it out loud to you. I teared up. So recently the podcast went up in the rankings on Listen Notes, which is like the one website that you can go to and that ranks all the podcasts, the 4 million podcasts worldwide. And I went up to 1.5%. So I'm top 1.5% podcast in the world. That's a huge, huge deal. So thank you to all of you. Thank you for all of you who listen and share and download and subscribe and rate and review the podcast. Thank you. I can't say that enough to all of you. And so I posted it on my personal Facebook page and even on my professional one. And people were saying, congratulations. I was like, can I brag for a second? I don't really do this, but I'm going to brag. And then one of my former clients, which I didn't even realize they followed me on Facebook, said to me, you are the reason why I'm still married. You saved my marriage. I was like, I had tears. I mean, and I remember them. That was more than 10 years ago. And so that, I don't see couples today, but the wonderful gift of what I do in my practice and the wonderful gift of therapy and personal development coaching is that people send their friends and family members to me.
Sure.
So I ended up later I saw the couple, I saw the husband alone, and I saw 2 of their kids when they were in their 20s for different reasons, for different, very individual reasons. And what a wonderful family too. And I loved them. And it just was like this wonder. I don't hear that very often. That just came out of the blue. And what a wonderful gift that you gave to me. So thank you for that. That meant the world to me. So, I have the blessing and the honor of seeing all these wonderful people, and I get to see their family members. They send their extended family members, their friends, their neighbors to me because of the work that I do. So, that to me is the best testament and the best testimony to how I work as a therapist and a coach is these word of mouth referrals. Okay. But for those of you who are not in the Chicagoland area and you don't know me other than from the podcast or from YouTube, get on a discovery call with me. Okay. And let's see how you and I can work together. I would love it.
Good.
Okay. All right. So let's go back to shutdown. So let's talk about what is shutdown. What really is it? So it's what happens when your nervous system decides, yeah, this is too much, not doing this, and I don't have the resources to fight or to run right now. I don't have it in me. I'm in the moment. I'm actually flooded emotionally right now. Flooded is another term we use. It basically means overwhelmed. I'm flooded. I'm overwhelmed. I don't have the resources, so I'm just going to go almost like a turtle going in its shell. I'm going to go inward. All right. So instead of, fighting or flighting, taking off or fighting with the person, you go into freeze and collapse, which is turtle going back in its shell. So what might that look like for you? That might be your mind going blank. It might be actually feeling numb, like kind of numbness, or emotionally you're feeling numb. Some people can feel physically numb, low energy. You just lose the energy for this conversation or this fight or this adverse vitriolic conversation that's happening right now, or the monologue that you're listening to. It can be, like I said earlier, just dissociation, like, so where you kind of like you just leave your body, you are elsewhere, and that's you feel far away, and that's a coping technique that goes back. I see that not always, but that's more common for me seeing it with people who've been through trauma at some point in their life. Trauma clients, trauma patients know how to dissociate very well because it's the only way they could survive their trauma. And I'm talking post-traumatic stress disorder, molestation, abuse, war, people who've seen horrible, horrible things that can never unsee. dissociation is at that time actually a very healthy coping tactic for them because they can't get it. So that's all the thing. That's trauma. But it happens to all of us. Like I've done this before.
Some version of it.
Some version of it, a lighter version of it.
Yeah.
You may find that you have a very difficult time talking. That's why you don't talk. You actually have a difficult time finding the words and speaking. So what you may do is you may say, it's fine, it's all fine, it's fine. When it's really, it's not fine. You don't know what else to say. So you use that it's fine voice.
And it's got to appear obvious, right? Externally?
It can to the person maybe you're in the fight with, not always. So what they think is that you've checked out.
Yeah.
So like what I've seen, like you and I have gotten in some big fights in our marriage and our relationship. And, I know I've done this with you and I think you've done this with me, like fights that have gone awry where you sort of just mentally check out and it looks like they're leaving or they're stonewalling you.
Sure.
I have experienced this from you and I probably have done this to you because I've watched you sort of stonewall me. Or the person gets on their phone and starts scrolling. They're scrolling and they look like because they're checking out.
Yeah.
They are starting to shut down.
They're distracting themselves at that point with something
or
different.
Sleeping or they'll go to sleep and they're just sleeping longer hours because they really need disconnection from you. They need to get away from you.
Yeah.
But maybe you're living together and they physically can't. So sleeping is a way to deal. Or they'll just disappear. They'll take off and just spend less time, in this case, like at home. Okay. So here's the important distinction. Shutdown isn't always a choice for people. So you may think, you're the receiver of this person shutting down that you're in the fight with. And you're like, I can't believe them. See, they're like I said, like they're just, here's their attachment issues. Here's their attachment issues coming up. No, it's might not be attachment. It's not a choice for them. Because stonewalling, which is what they're really doing, it can look like a choice, but it's really the behavioral expression of them shutting down. So that's what you're observing is their behavioral expression. So if you've ever said to yourself, I can't do this right now. Like I don't have the bandwidth. I can't do this and somebody in your life, maybe your partner, I don't know, your sibling looks at you and is like, well, that's you being manipulative. You're manipulating. That's what we're going to clean up today. Because you saying I can't do this right now does not mean you're manipulating. It actually means quite the opposite.
Yeah. Because you possibly could be fueling the fire for that other person.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're like, oh, well, here that person goes
this is
again.
What they're doing again.
This is what you always do. You always embrace this move.
You always shut down. You get on your phone. You're like, do not really, because it looks like you don't care,
right?
And that's why you look like you're an avoidant attached style.
Yeah, you're making it worse.
You could be an avoidant attached style, but it doesn't mean in that situation that you are. That's a whole different animal.
Yeah,
but we use those terms. We use that jargon if we know a little bit about attachment theory. Maybe we've read the book Attached. But remember, everybody, I think the psychoeducation of these self-help books are really wonderful, but you also have to remember that even sometimes for us therapists, sometimes it takes us a minute to understand in getting to really know a client, what the person's attachment style is or what their trauma is. So please be careful labeling yourself or other people because I have to say you don't know. You really don't know unless you've been in therapy and you've really worked on this and that's different. Okay, maybe you really do know. But a lot of people are using these terms so easily, like I say about trauma and narcissism, and we don't know if someone's a narcissistic abuser. We don't know if somebody has an avoidant attachment style. You can't always tell that from a book. Sometimes you're right, but sometimes you're also not right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what's going on in the nervous system? I mean, why is this happening with us when we are going into this shutdown that's, really sort of starts in our body. It starts in our body. So what's happening is your threat system is being activated. That's what's going on first. All right. So your body is sensing some sort of threat coming your way. So shutdown is your body going, we don't have to be physical. We're not going to be physical here. So we can perceive threat. It can come across as criticism. The tone in one's voice can really get us activated to go into shutdown. It can be conflict, a fight. It can be a disappointment. It can be someone being mad at us. That's kind of really the most obvious and easiest one to discern. It can be our body feeling trapped. Like I I need to get out of this room, or we can feel trapped emotionally or mentally or psychologically by another person. It can be, and this is a big one too, I think, that we don't talk about enough. If we feel incompetent with someone, and this happens in the workplace, if I feel incompetent, then I feel insecure, then I'm going to go into shutdown.
Hmm.
And no one knows what's going on, but I on the inside may start having these feelings of competence.
Yeah.
So I shut down because I'm going into self-preservation mode, right? It can be us feeling misunderstood. Okay, I'm not being understood here. So what do? Okay, time to shut it all down.
Yeah.
Or feeling like I'm about to be rejected. This person's breaking up with me. This person's leaving me. I'm getting fired. We talked about this in previous episodes around anxiety. So what do? We go into shutdown. All right. So that's the step one. Is our nervous system really gets activated. And step two is we have these arousal spikes, and this can be fight or flight for some people. So, it's starting to go into fight or flight. I think it's more flight. Heart rate goes up. We feel tension in our body. We start to get agitated, and here go our thoughts. Thoughts start racing. That's step two, arousal. Step three is it feels like we can't unwind this. Like it's unwindable. You can't unwind from what's happening right now in your body. So we just sort of drop down. And so your system is deciding, I can't win this. I can't escape from this. And I cannot handle this right now. So your body kind of slams on the brakes. Your nervous system is slamming on the brakes. Your cortisol is going real high. That's shut down. That's you shutting down. Like, I can't get out of this. I can't handle this right now.
Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye. I'm gonna go away for a little bit.
Right.
Inside myself, right? So a lot of people don't shut down because they don't care. Now, some people may shut down because they don't care. I think most people are shutting down. It's not because they don't care. They're shutting down because their body decided that caring about the situation, caring about this conversation, caring about you, it's dangerous right now. At a primal level, it's dangerous right now. So I gotta go.
And it could be the flip side. I mean, maybe they really do care a lot, but they
can't tolerate the
not
situation.
sure in the moment how to deal with that.
They just can't tolerate it in the moment. Because remember, emotions are really high now.
Yes.
Emotions are getting higher. And many of us, like I'm always going to say this, many of us don't have the tools to regulate ourselves. We can't regulate that nervous system that I just talked about, the fight or flight system. We didn't learn it. We didn't learn it in our family of origin. We didn't see it with mom and dad. Mom and dad didn't talk about it. We didn't learn about these things. We didn't take a class on it. Even if you were a psych major or you took, something in the behavioral sciences in college, that's theory. We didn't learn these things. Many of us learned this in therapy. I learned it by taking all these courses. And it actually was not in graduate school. I had learned all of this by taking continuing education, going to conferences and learning these courses about how to regulate our nervous system. And I remember thinking, why are we not teaching this in kindergarten? Why are we not teaching this?
That's a great question.
Me and all the other therapists, we would always say this, because here we are like in our 20s and 30s, and some of us in our 40s and going, this is an amazing therapy. Why? And we're teaching it in groups and psych units. We're teaching it, in groups in our group practices. Why are we? And what a gift. Like when I would run these adolescent programs to teach this to the teenagers, because the teenagers just like lapped it up. They just soaked it up because these are the skills that they didn't have to regulate their nervous systems and their emotions that they didn't know. And I'm like, oh yeah, well, I just learned it too myself, like last year, and I'm 32,
Well, why can't that flip?
We're not teaching this stuff. And that's my emotional mastery method that I teach in my group coaching. This is what I'm teaching you. And it's next level. I'm teaching this and I'm giving you some amazing skills. So, and the wonderful thing about individual one-on-one coaching in my group coaching is that because they're small, you get to raise your hand or not raise your hand and say, hey, I have a question about this or that in my life.
Yeah.
And we talk about what it is in your life. And I'm giving you the skills for your situation because individual and group coaching is always nuanced for you.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about some of the top reasons why people shut down. What is it that's going on in our lives that's making us shut down? All right. Number one, I said in the beginning, it's always going to be overwhelm. We also call it flooding, or the clinical term really is, sort of cognitive overload. where we can't process fast enough, or because this is what the brain does. It's when we start to it starts our thinking slows down, or there's just too much information coming in, or I think it's too many emotions that are coming in, and we can't handle it, or too many details. I think it's too many emotions. So, here's a good example, like your partner, your spouse, your boyfriend, girlfriend brings 7 complaints to you at once. Like all these, like a litany of complaints about the house and you and you, why didn't you shovel the driveway? I came home and dinner's not made. Like, what are we doing for dinner tonight? I thought that you were going to do it. Well, I thought you were, you know what I mean? Like, and like, just all what you perceive as someone complaining, and not just one, but coming in with many. Your mind goes blank.
Yeah.
It can kind of just go blank, right? And one thing that I think you can do is to name it for yourself. Like, okay, that's too much. You've overloaded me. I need one topic. I need one thing right now. I need you to not complain about 7 things. And that is really empowering when you do that. Okay, honey, I hear you, babe, I hear you. One thing right now, okay? And that's why you got to have these conversations about this, so that when that happens, okay, you can have your feelings. But one thing. That empowers you.
And I think that's good advice when you're on the other side of this conversation.
Yeah.
Right. You don't bring a list, right? That seems like a bad choice.
And there are days when I get caught up and I probably complain to you about 3 or 4 or 5 different things too. I've done this. We get overloaded.
We've all done
this, and we did that episode on mental load.
Yeah,
I think that this is always going to be best practices, everybody. We did that episode on mental load, and I think especially for women, we carry around so much in our heads that we are worrying about and thinking about and ruminating about, and then we come in the house or we get in the car or whatever. We're at dinner. I know I've done this before. You and I go out to dinner in the beginning. It's like, I'm having just kind of a crap day. It usually is like during the week or something is going on with the kids or the house or the dogs. The dogs are hound dogs, which are so much. Oh my gosh, we love our dogs, but we've never had hound dogs before. And they are a very specific and very vocal, verbal, and high needs breed of dog. Yeah. Lots of needs. So, like Forrest, our one of the hounds, knows how to jump our fence. So he just hopped the fence the other day. I'm sitting in the kitchen looking out the window. I'm like, oh my God. And these dogs, hounds don't come back. You have to almost have a shock collar on them because they've got those noses, and the noses are more important than anything in their life. And any human. I'm like sitting at the sink watching him hop over the fence. I'm like, that's how he's getting out. He's gone. So like we go to dinner and I'm annoyed by the dog almost getting hit by a car and not being able to find him. We had an air tag on him, but he took that off, but maybe it's something with like, it could be anything. And you're like, oh, okay. And then I'll like start in on you and you did this, and why didn't you do that? And you could say, and you have a look on your face too of overwhelm. Like, all right. What one thing, Anna?
That's a lot.
Sometimes I just need to vent, though.
It's true.
And just get it off my chest, so to speak. And you're really great about that.
That's fair.
There are times when I'm that's just kind of me complaining. But there are times like I'm in a bad mood, and I'll do it. And you look like I can't do this right now. Gosh. I can't do this. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's a visual for you. I think this is relatable. I mean, it's relatable if you work in an office. So the Amazon guy probably delivers once a day, right? Package.
I don't know about that.
Ours does. He's probably there several.
I don't know about that. No. Although it is my pharmacy. It is my grocery store.
I'm talking about at work.
You're talking about our house.
You and our Amazon guy, we're a stop on his route. Like, it's just a common knowledge. A guy comes here every day, even if he doesn't have a package.
Hey, with this cold weather, we're isolated. They're like, I look forward to seeing them. Hi, I smile. They're looking at me like, okay, crazy lady.
All right, sidebar. Okay. Anyways, so at work, we are a stop.
Yeah.
Probably several times. So it's like that guy can come in, or that the worker can come in and bring a package, and there's something to do with that, right?
Sure.
You got to think about whose is it, where does it go, how big is it, who's carrying it, all the things. That guy comes in with a cart.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden there's a lot to do, right? So it's like this. It's like there's one thing. Okay, right. I can work through that, but you just gave me 13 things to do. Now I need to start to kind of figure out, I need to prioritize. Am I going to need to delegate? Right. There's some things in
Right.
my own head now that I need to figure out, like, okay, what's first? What's important to you? You just gave me the list. How do you have them ranked for me to do? Let's say,
Yeah.
if that was the case,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's a good question
Yeah.
for me to think about. Well, I think it's important to the point of what I just said, maybe to not complain to you about 7 or 8 different things, but for me to work on regulating my emotions before and I go, and of course, like we said, there's a differentiator. There's times you just want to vent.
Yeah.
There's times you just want to vent about work or we just want to talk about things. And
Sure.
it doesn't feel personal to me. It's like, or it may not feel personal to you when I'm like complaining about, the dogs or whatever it might be. Like
It's
an
a story.
email that didn't go
Yeah,
through, or
yeah.
I can't figure something out because I'm terrible with the computer and I'm complaining. It doesn't feel personal to you, but it's
Right.
one thing when it's like you this, you that, and I feel like you.
That's different.
That's different, and
Yeah.
that's where we move into shutdown.
Yeah.
Because it's too much,
Right.
and it's like, why didn't you do this today? I thought you were going to do this. It's like, okay, get off my back. Like one thing. Okay. So cognitive overload.
Yeah.
That's a reason why people get shut down. Let's move on. So another one, and this is big for people, is shame. So shame is it's a shutdown for shame people who feel shame. This is a classic response. All right. So because we go into this feeling of like, I'm bad, I'm failing, or I'm not enough, it goes deep into our insecurities about shame. Guilt is surface level. I've said this before. Guilt is surface level. Shame is deeper, much, much deeper down here. All right. So guilt is I did something bad. Shame is I am bad. Guilt lives in the light, is up here. Shame lives in darkness. So you wouldn't even know, Tim, if you said something to me, because you can't read my mind. You could say something to me and I could go right to a place, and people do this, right to a place of, oh, there's something wrong with me here. So I'm bad. And I suck. I'm failing at this. I'm just not enough.
Yeah.
So, shame, it doesn't make people talk. Shame doesn't make people start to verbalize. Shame makes people want to just disappear. Just go inside the turtle in the shell. Go inside your shell and just disappear. So, an example of a shame statement to somebody is like, why can't you ever? Why can't you ever? The person just instantly can go into collapse. I see this. I used to see this all the time in marriages.
Well, you not only collapse, but I would imagine that some people go into a stage of trying to figure out how to get out of that spot, right? Like how to fix it, how to change it, right? Some people are like, ooh, because they're blaming, they're looking inwardly. This is me, it's me, it's me. And I'm the one that needs to change this. I need to fix it.
And I think a great power move for all of you is to be able to know, and you may have to work on this on your own, to know when the feelings of shame start to come up for you, because you might, if you spend some time on this, you'll know what it feels like in your body, when it's starting to percolate to the surface, this feeling of shame. And then to be able to say to the person, I'm feeling shame right now. To verbalize it, put words to it, find a way to put words to it. I'm feeling shame right now. And if this keeps going on, I'm going to shut down. And then your partner or the person you're talking to, like let's say your intimate partner, your kid, your spouse, your sibling, your parent, would be like, okay, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Because if you were to say that to me, I would have no idea, because I don't know what's going on inside your mind and in your body. I would have no idea that this is bringing up shame for you. Oh, okay. I back off. Now, this is in healthy, loving relationships where there is a modicum of respect for one another. So if you have that, you can say, I'm starting to feel ashamed right now. Like, because if you did that to me, I'd be like, well, I don't want you to feel ashamed.
Yeah.
But I'm really mad about this.
Yeah. And you would also say, I can't make you feel anything, right? And you would jump back into it, right? You would.
Well, because you can't make people feel a certain way, although they do feel it.
They do feel it.
Right. Okay. So I'm feeling shame. If we keep going right now, I'm going to shut down.
Yeah.
All right. So another reason why people get shut down is really a fear of conflict and fear of anger. But so many of us are afraid of conflict. We're afraid of confrontation. And remember, confrontation in Latin, confrontation, the Latin, it means to turn and face. All confrontation means is to turn and face something. And I think most of us interpret confrontation as something that's angry and literally in your face. Like, it doesn't always mean that. It just means to turn and to face something. So we have this fear of conflict. We have this fear of anger. So, some people's nervous systems learned very early that anger means danger. Anger equals danger, right? So adult disagreements can trigger child survival. Your survival as a kid, this is family of origin stuff. That's why so many people that I've worked with really have a difficult time with disagreements or what they view as conflict and confrontation.
Sure.
Because they're attaching meaning to it that goes way back. And so what I work with my clients on, we got to detach the meaning to go back to your childhood or go back to earlier years in your life.
So do you think someone who right in present time has a difficult time with hard conversations, you think that's correctable? You think
absolutely it's correctable. So much of the work I do with people absolutely is correctable. Teaching the skills and putting in the reps to get to a place where you can have disagreement and you can have conflict. It doesn't mean you're going to get in a fight. You're going to yell.
Yeah.
It's going to be, because we have to work with what's coming up inside of us when we think of the idea of having conflict with someone,
right,
or having a disagreement with someone. And once we get, that's a lot of the work I do.
Okay. Because I can think of people right now that I don't think they would ever be capable of having difficult conversations.
They are capable. They have the capacity.
Without getting too emotional and too intense.
Without getting really dysregulated.
Yes,
and we're afraid of that dysregulation.
And all the things.
Because we're afraid of the dysregulation, but you absolutely can learn how to sit in conflict and sit in disagreement and not get dysregulated, and learn how and because we have the capacity to do this work.
Yeah.
And how empowering and liberating it is to know that, I just went through that and I did a pretty good job of it. That was hard, but I did it.
Right.
And I did it, and I can do it again.
Have you ever asked somebody, have you ever quantified before a conversation gets rolling if that person's good with going into a very transparent, hard conversation? Have you ever asked that question out loud? Like, hey, what we're about ready to get into, I can see, and maybe it's history that you've got with this person,
right?
And you know where they're going to go historically,
right?
Have you ever said, "Hey, are you good with having a really difficult conversation, open, honest, transparent?"
In my personal life,
yeah. You have, okay.
Yeah. There's a way to do it. I mean, it's different for everybody, and that's something that I'll work on with you when you reach out to me, and we work together one-on-one.
Yeah.
But I have.
Yeah. I think it's helpful, right? Like when you ask that question.
It's so healthy.
Yeah.
And both people leave feeling pretty good.
Or the person might say, no, I'm not. That's not where I'm at today.
And now you have more information.
And now we do it tomorrow. Yeah. Maybe, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, if you were raised with a lot of yelling in your family, or you were raised with unpredictable moods, usually in your caregiver, it could be mom or dad, or if you had a grandmother who raised you, but you were never able to predict the moods, or if you were raised with addiction, where there was drug and substance use disorders, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, and you as a kid or an adolescent couldn't figure out what the mood was going to be, for you, any sort of intensity of emotion can really feel unsafe for you. So that's something we have to unlearn.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it makes sense.
It does make sense.
Yeah.
And they're entrenched. They're like dug in, entrenched feelings and states of feeling because of where you come from. And that can be unlearned. Okay. So what you learn is that you can say to people, or the people in your life, I can do calm and I can do direct. I can't do escalation. So I can't do right now. I'm not here for the yelling and screaming. I'm not here if this is going to turn into a yelling match. I'm not doing that. But I absolutely am here for it if we can have a calm and a direct conversation. And we talk about I statements, like I statements, not the you statements. Absolutely, we can do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So why is another reason why we get shut down? And it is We're going to go into attachment a little bit here. So it is attachment fear, which, attachment fear is really, truth be told, it's a fear of abandonment. So, the moment for people who really do have attachment issues that go back to our early years, attachment 0 to 3. Attachment is the very early years of our lives, the moment we're born to. It's also character, personality development. It's not a temperament. We're born with our temperament, but this is character, personality, and can be attachment. It's our early caregivers from the time we're born to 3 years old. That's why those early years with your mother or your caregiver or your father are so important for personality and character development. Okay, so, and most of you probably know that. So attachment threat, the moment feels like if I say the wrong thing, they're going to leave me. If I say the wrong thing to you, you're going to leave. You will get up and you will go and you will abandon me. And I know that feeling. I've been here before and it's terrifying. And there's nothing that's more deeply painful than being abandoned. Or there's something more deeply scary to me or threatening to me than the worry that you're going to leave. It's a terrible feeling. So what does the person do? Is they freeze. It's a self-protective measure. It's self-preservation. They freeze because they have to do that because they don't want to be abandoned. Okay. So and this is a big one for people. And I don't know. I don't think we should be texting this because we're not doing this in voicemails. We're not doing it live with each other. We're texting our partner or the person in our life saying, we need to talk. Okay, you want to talk about red flags and alarm bells going up for people? Come on, everybody. I think we got to stop doing that. Like alarm bells, ding, 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 ding. Warning, 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 warning. We freak out.
Yeah.
We need to talk. Because what are we doing? We go into panic. For those of us who have real attachment issues, we go into panic and then we just get numb out. We numb out because that is so damn scary to get a text. We need to talk.
Yeah. And I'm trying to, how did we actually get to here, right? How did this happen? Where like texting has replaced.
I know you complain about texting all the
but
time.
I mean, it has. It just is
the way we communicate, Tim. I mean, there's something
I
don't even, you know what? I don't even have a voicemail thing on my phone. Like
yeah.
It's in my phone, but it's not something that I used to have. Voicemail was probably on my front screen years ago.
Yeah.
Now it's like hidden in the back of my phone. I got an important call from somebody 2 weeks ago. I have to call them back. I just heard it. And I got a call from a psychiatrist, friend of mine.
Okay.
I don't know if he called me like 5 days ago, left me a voicemail. I don't know if he's calling about something personal or if he's calling about a patient.
Right.
I'm like, oh my, and I left him a voicemail. I left him a voicemail back because he's a voicemail person. He's older. I'm like, oh my gosh, he thinks I'm totally blowing him off. Because we're all texting each other. So I would say, okay, let's not get into the whole thing about you don't like texting. Let's not get into the thing about important texts. People are texting big things.
Yeah.
I would just not say we need to talk. Do you have a minute to talk? Because it makes alarm bells go off on people and it freaks people out.
That's where I'm going with this. Like there's certain things you should text, right? Yeah. It's a means of quick communication.
And here's what I would say back. We need to talk, or do you have a minute to talk? Sure. But before we start, are we okay?
Yeah.
So that's how you're taking a little bit of the leverage back, a little bit, I would say the power back. Sure. Or I can talk in 10 minutes, but before we start, are we okay? Are you leaving? And I would say this to like someone you're dating. Are you leaving this relationship or are we solving it? That would totally be like, whoa.
You're texting that back?
Yes.
Wow.
I think it's so empowering.
Yeah.
Are we leaving? Are you leaving or are we solving something?
Yeah.
Then they're a little bit on their back foot. But I love that for you. Are we leaving or are we solving?
Yeah.
Okay? Or something of that rendition for you because it's empowering and it does put them on their back foot. Because I don't like do you got a minute to talk? Or you could say, sure, I'd talk in 5 minutes before we start. Are we okay? What is this about?
And you're talking in the context of a relationship.
I'm talking about a relationship.
Yeah.
This could be somebody that you've been dating 2 or 3 times that you met on Hinge, on Bumble.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to have some of this back because I don't like the power imbalance that goes on in that.
Yeah.
Sure, I can talk in 5 minutes. Can I ask what this is about?
Yeah.
So you have some information. information.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
It does. And so I think that's where I'm going with it is like in situations like that, 100%, I can see and understand and agree that that's
Right.
how it should go. But I think people then like take that mode and they apply it to all things, right? Their whole entire existence goes from like a text about who knows what, something that's like very large turns into a text. And it's like, well, that's not a text. That's a phone call. Or
You
at the
could, and you
very
could say
minimum.
this is I don't think this is a text. This is a phone call. When do you
Yeah.
have time to get on?
Yeah.
When do you have time to chat?
Correct.
I've had that, and I
Yeah.
said that to you. Hey, I think this is a phone call. When do you have time to chat? Because maybe
Right.
they can't pick up the phone and talk right then because they're at work or something.
Sure.
They can call on their break or
Yeah.
they drive home.
Yeah.
Okay. And that gives you it balances sort of I'm saying power, but it's not always power, but it does balance out like, well, maybe it's power. It balances out a bit.
Well, it's known information, right? Like
Yeah.
like you know a little bit more about what this is about, right? And you now know how to mentally get yourself engaged to think about what to do.
Because I don't for the person who's on the receiving end of, hey, do you got a minute? Do you got a minute to chat?
Yeah.
It can feel provocative to the other person.
Sure.
And it can feel like, okay, you just blindsided me with that.
Right.
It's provocative.
That's the risk of texting.
Yeah.
Right.
I know you go crazy about texting. Okay. Another reason why we shut down is for many people, there's just learned helplessness. I've talked about this before. Nothing I say works. Like nothing I do works for me. It's not going to work out. So, if you are someone who you chronically feel unheard, or maybe you chronically, or you feel like you're always being criticized or interrupted. This is a big one for people. Some people are always interrupting you. What happens is people just stop trying, right? So, shutdown again becomes self-protection. It becomes self-preservation. So, example of this could be, every attempt maybe at someone, a attempt for a connection, a conversation, it turns into a lecture, from them or some sort of cross-examination. That's gonna shut people down. This is more around verbal communication. So, and I love this one because the power move on this one is you saying, I'm willing to have a conversation with you, but we need to do it where we take turns talking and it comes from a space of curiosity. I love that. Love it. Love it.
Comes from a space of curiosity.
Comes from a space or a place of curiosity. And
okay.
And I'd love to have, I would love to have a conversation with you, but we need to take turns talking.
Yeah.
You're setting it up. So here you go. You're empowered again. You're getting a little bit more power back, empowered. And you say, sure, we can have that conversation, but it needs to be a dialogue where we take turns talking and where there's you could say like an atmosphere of curiosity, or it comes from a place of curiosity.
That's interesting.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because I think many, many people we talk at each other and this is a conversation I had it with my sister. Like we've been having conversations around why people are not curious enough about each other.
Yeah.
Why are we not showing curiosity towards one another? We tend to like to talk more for the extroverts about ourselves and our lives. And we need to learn to flip it and be curious about the people in your life. Be curious about the people you live with. Be curious about people that you meet for the first. Be curious. Ask them about them.
Yeah.
Ask them about not what they do. What do you like to do? What are your plans this weekend? Get curious about people in general.
Yeah. I mean, this supports your whole 2 ears, 1 mouth situation.
That's
right?
what God gave you, 2 ears and 1 mouth. Like you say that. Let's not talk so much.
Right.
Let's start listening.
It's silly, but it's also super
And
good
true.
advice and very true.
And true. Okay. What's another reason why we get shut down? It can be trauma patterning. So this is patterning from trauma. Okay. So this is people that when I was talking about the beginning of the episode. So this is true. This is true trauma. Okay. This can be big T, and from people, it's little t trauma. You are used to going into freeze or dissociation. So some shutdown is trauma coded. It is. It's the body learned stillness was the safest way to be. Okay. And if this is something that you have in your life, this is trauma work that you need to do with a therapist, someone who's especially trained in trauma. Okay. If you're in Illinois, I do this. I'm a trauma expert, trauma specialist. I've been doing trauma for, one of the first The first trainings I received in my early 20s after grad school was in trauma work, grief and loss and trauma. Okay. So the example of trauma patterning for people could be you feel cornered. It's a feeling of being trapped. It's a feeling of being totally powerless. You, can you imagine the feeling of being powerless? It's awful, awful feeling.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's awful what it does to the body. And we have to stop it. So we go right into freeze. The body just freezes. Turtle back in his shell, but we freeze. Okay. So when we do trauma work around, and so part of that is not being shut down, it really is a trauma work. And one of the results of trauma work is we learn to not be shut down, right? Is we know and we can say to ourselves, I'm safe now, but my body doesn't believe it yet. I know in my head, I know I'm safe right now. I've developed the awareness that I'm in this office with you. I'm sitting across I'm sitting on the couch and you're sitting in the chair, and I know I'm safe with you. And it's going to take some more work for my body to believe it. And for many people, that's doing somatic work. I think for most people, it's being psychologically safe with your therapist and doing that work together. And for many people I've worked with, it's not months, it's years. And then they come out of it.
Yeah.
And it's doing some like adjacent therapies as well for people. EMDR is a wonderful treatment. It's sort of the gold standard in trauma treatment. EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. And that's a specialty training. So you would look for a therapist who's trained in EMDR. I had somebody on here probably 5 years ago now who is an EMDR specialist out in Orange County. I forget her name. But you can Google EMDR trained therapists. This is for people who truly have trauma. Okay. And you know what? I'm going to say this. I don't think everything is always trauma, because I'm hearing the word trauma so much today. But remember, I'm speaking in generalities. For you, there's big T trauma, there's little T trauma. I think most people could benefit from EMDR. It's a wonderful therapy.
Yeah.
Really wonderful therapy.
I mean, if you're diagnosing the situation for yourself and you're calling it trauma, I think that alone
Pay attention to it.
Is a red flag.
Pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's always when you got into a fight with your mom and you have trauma.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna.
I mean, it might not be.
I'm gonna step lightly, gently, because I don't know your situation. I don't always know if it's trauma.
Yeah.
It can be. We had a big conversation at New Year's. My girlfriends and I talking about trauma, and most of us are Gen Xers, and how we grew up, and that we all went through things in our lives that were hard, and somebody was saying, well, yeah, now the millennials and the Gen Zers are saying it's all trauma. And it was an interesting conversation about the generational differences between what we define as trauma. And that's a conversation for another time.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a really interesting conversation around, some people say it's trauma and other people say, no, life was hard and I got through it. And I don't think that was trauma. I've never thought of it as trauma. I thought of it as that was a shitty deal that I got dealt in life, and I dealt with it, and I'm better.
Yeah.
And
it's
I don't know, I just thought it was
perspective.
interesting.
Yeah.
it was
It's your perspective. That's all.
And I do think that most people could benefit from EMDR.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's shutdown is real common in people who have trauma patterning. Another reason why people get shut down is neurodiversity. People with something like ADHD or auditory processing issues, or maybe they've got sensory sensitivity issues. I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up. So just neurodiverse individuals. So, a fast-paced emotional conversation for certain people are hard. Certain brains can't handle those conversations. They truly just can't handle it. They need a slower pace. They maybe need fewer words. They might need written follow-ups, or they might need breaks from a conversation. It just can, and if they don't get them, they'll go into shutdown. And it can look disrespectful. It can look like rude. It's not disrespectful. It's not rude. They truly can't their brain can't manage what's happening right now. Okay. So, maybe an example of that could be, and I think of that in school. I think of that as students in the school play setting. I also think of it like your partner wants to have like some resolution to an issue that you're having at 10 o'clock at night. You're in bed and they want to have this conversation now. And you're like about to go to sleep. You can't, your brain is fried. You can't do it. And they're like forcing the conversation on you we got to resolve this tonight. We can't go to bed with this. I got to have it tonight.
Yeah.
But what happens is you're going into shutdown because your brain is fried. You really can't tolerate that conversation right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So, for you, if this is something that you might want to say is, I need time to process this. I can't do this right now. For the example of, your partner or somebody, your kid wanted to talk to you at 10 o'clock at night and your brain is done. You could just be someone your brain is done because you're in mental overload. You could say, I can't do this right now. We can talk tomorrow. Let's talk tomorrow at 4 when you get home from school or you get home from work. And this is big in Gottman theory. Gottman, when I went through Gottman training, Julie and John Gottman were one of the gurus of couples therapy, because you can feel flooded and overwhelmed in a conversation that's getting too intense. You and I have talked about this before. And you say, I can't do this right now because I'm going to go into shutdown. Well, because you do get to walk away. You do get to walk away from a situation where we're going to start screaming, and now we're going to start saying mean things to each other, and we're going to say words we can't take back because you can't ever unhear certain things that people say to each other, right? So let's not do that. And it's like warning. You got a yellow flag up. You're not in red flag yet, but your yellow flag is up. You go like, this is going south.
Yeah.
So it's like, we need to stop. So the rule sort of in Gottman is you don't just walk away from the other person because it feels very rude and disrespectful. I can't do this right now. And the other person is like, wait, what? Well, I want to have this conversation right now. So you can't sort of leave them because then they can feel abandoned and they can feel like you're just leaving. I can't do this right now. I'm totally flooded, but let's regroup and talk tomorrow. Okay, well, what time? And this is something you do in couples work. Specifically, Gottman. Let's talk tomorrow, and let's talk tomorrow 7. We wake up, before we go to work, we'll have this conversation.
Right.
But you have to have that conversation tomorrow at 7 a.m. Now, this is ideal. And this is ideal because there are times we're having conversations with each other where we're going to go to blows here, and not physical. I'm not talking about physical. That's a whole different thing. I'm not talking about domestic violence. We're talking about an intense conversation where you're going to get shut down and you're not going to think right. You're going to get flooded. And we're going to start saying mean things to each other.
And right before bedtime, correct me if I'm wrong, that might actually be the worst time you could go into something like this, right?
Or you wanting to talk to me about something that we have this issue that just keeps happening.
Yeah.
We have an issue. Let's go back years. Let's be real transparent here. Let's go back to one of the kids who was in middle school and you were having a real hard time with her. Those are tough years, and you would be so frustrated with her. And I'd be getting home from work and I'd be getting dinner ready. And you'd want to, and I don't remember this specifically happening, but I could see this. You come in the kitchen, like maybe they're all at basketball or volleyball practice and it's just you and I, or the boys are in the basement. There's no one around. Yeah. And I just got home from work. You got home from work. You have something that happened with her, maybe an altercation, or you got into something in the car because you took her to practice. And you come in the kitchen and you're like, now I think you're like kind of bitching to me about her. And I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I have to think about dinner. I got to put this meal together. And I just don't. It was a day of seeing clients. I'm emotionally and mentally exhausted. Now you want to talk about one of the kids. And I would say to you, what could happen is I get defensive for her and sort of for myself, and want to sort of take it from her angle and sort of protect her in a way. I get defensive for her and argue with her because I have her back. And you, in a way, sense that. You sense it. Okay, Anna's not agreeing with me. Anna's arguing with me or playing devil's advocate, which is the last thing you probably want, is for me to play devil's advocate. You want to come in the kitchen and you just want to vent to me, and I don't want to hear it. So what has happened is you and I end up arguing. Yeah, about her.
And it changes then.
So many times this has happened.
Yeah, true.
And then we get into an argument about her.
It's like,
and
wait, what are we talking about now?
You want to complain about her and I don't want to hear it.
Right.
And so what the better thing to do is, I can't hear this right now because we've done this. We just did it recently. I can't hear this right now.
Yeah.
We have to talk about it later. I can't do this right now. Let's talk about it tomorrow. We'll talk about it tonight when things are calmed down and I'm in a better state. And we have done that.
Sure.
So you have to be able to delay gratification in a way. It's, delay gratification to say, all right, but we're going to take this up tonight, right? Yes, we'll talk about this tonight. I'll give it all of its due diligence tonight. I can't do it right now. Right. And we have done that.
Totally.
But we've done more of the fighting in the kitchen thing, which has not gone very well. And it doesn't, and we never solved the
right.
issue.
And what it eventually evolved into, which was the right way to do it, is for me to go to her directly. And right, like it eventually evolved into that, and you were out of the
Because I
kind of
told,
the middle of
because
it.
I had to be my own therapist. I
Yeah.
had to tell me, stop doing
Yeah.
that shit.
And
Now I'm in a triangle.
And that solved
It did.
all of it.
Because I took myself
Yeah.
out of that dysfunctional triad that
Sure.
you kind of brought me into.
My bad.
And I
Yeah.
got into it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I knew, because I'm like, I knew this is not right. I'm like, go to her.
Yeah.
And that helped. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why for people who have neurodiversity, ADHD, auditory processing, any sort of neurospicy individuals, pay attention, because their shutdown is they just can't handle it. It's not that they don't care. They don't want to hear what you have to say. You got to choose the time. And another reason, the final reason why people get shut down is, physiologically, they're depleted. And this is a big one. It's the last one, and it might be the biggest one. They're sleep deprived. They're hungry. They're hormonal. We're hormonal.
Yeah.
We're already dysregulated about something else that's going on in our lives. We're stressed out. The window, when you have all these things in your life and you have this mental overload, especially for women, I think, your window of tolerance completely shrinks.
Totally.
Completely shrinks. So, example is what I just said, like the end of the day conflict, and you have all these things going on. Your hormones are out of whack. You're perimenopausal. You're menopausal. You're hungry. We use HALT, and that comes from 12-step. HALT. You're hungry, angry, lonely, tired. The last thing you're going to do at the end of the day is want to get into some conflictual conversation that is going to end in disaster.
Right.
That is going to end in disaster for all of us.
Sure.
Even the most evolved individuals.
Yeah.
It's not gonna go well.
Do you remember Stretch Armstrong?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And I cut him open because I wanted to see what was on the inside, and I ruined that doll.
Okay.
I love Stretch Armstrong. I got him for Christmas one year, and I stretched him and just couldn't figure out why he could stretch like that.
Okay.
So I got a knife or scissors. I would have gotten in so much trouble if my mom found me doing this. And I cut him open and I ruined him.
Poor.
I'm so sad about that. Yes, I
remember. But fun fact with Anna, thank you. But that's the visual of what you're talking about. You're stretched so thin across so many areas in your life, right? And it's like there's no more stretch for you.
So you do have capacity, but you may not have the capacity at 10 o'clock at night to talk about something with your partner or even with your kid. Like, I want to hear this. I want to hear the story. I want to hear what you're saying, but could we have this conversation tomorrow when I take you to school?
Sure.
Can we have this conversation? Honey, I just can't listen to this. Right. I want to give it. I want to be able to listen. I can't be available right now for this.
Makes
most
sense.
People of most ages can understand that. Okay. So, it's not tonight. My body is done. Let's reschedule this. All right. Okay. So the shutdown cycle and how it can become a relationship problem. So here's the classic cycle. Person A is the pursuer. So let's say you're person A. You want closeness with me. You want answers to something, and you want to make a repair. I'm person B, and I am shut down because my nervous system is overloaded. So I'm like shutting down, like get away, like moving my body away from you, not listening, not making eye contact. You escalate. You don't really care. So you don't really care. Why are you talking? So you don't really care about this, do you? I'm going, no, I can't. So I'm shutting down even harder. I can't right now. I can't do this with you. So what happens is you can feel like I'm emotionally abandoning you because I'm not having the conversation with you. And I can feel totally sort of attacked by you. Like let's take the example of the conversation with our daughter years ago, your 13-year-old daughter. So I feel attacked, and you feel like completely like she just sort of abandoned the whole conversation.
Right.
And she won't do this with me. Right. So the real issue becomes one person wants connection, like you wanted connection with me in the kitchen through talking. And I need regulation before talking because I'm dysregulated right now. I've got stuff on my mind from people I saw all day at work, or I've just got stuff, maybe, I don't know, it could be anything in our lives, right? It could be anything with a friend or family member, whatever, kids. It can be the fact that I just have a crap load of laundry that's not getting done, and I have to get dinner on the table, and I'm tired because I haven't been sleeping well, right?
Yeah.
So you're wanting connection through talking, and I need no talking so that I can get myself regulated. So here's the truth. You can't demand intimacy from another person whose body is dysregulated, right? You can't. And that for both of us, we've done this in our lives, and for all of us who've done this, that's not leadership. So I talk about leadership not just in the workplace, but I talk about leadership in our personal lives. So this is an example of not being a leader. This is us pressuring the other person.
Yeah.
So pressure is not leadership. Leadership is not pressing people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I should be more aware probably of what I actually need, right? Like I might just need you to listen. Maybe that's my angle. Or I might be searching for input or advice or what to do, right? And I also need to be mindful of like, well, you might not be ready to give that right now.
Right.
Right. And then I need to be able to then what's my next move? My next move is to take a step backwards. Hopefully.
Because we can't always give to each other in the way we need it given to us at the same time.
Sure.
Right? Because we both we converge in our lives with the day's worries and stresses on us.
But player A in this case, that's not always possible, right? It's possible, yes, but you're not thinking, that's not top of mind, right? Like it's not top of mind. It's not what I'm looking for.
Right.
I'm looking for an answer. I'm looking for time. I'm looking for this or that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I need to be like, oh, okay, hang on, player B. You're not ready for this. You're not in a spot for this. Okay, I can appreciate that.
Let's table it. We'll talk later. Okay, so let's move on. I want to get through this because we're over an hour into this, and I want to let you guys go. Okay, so these are your power moves. All right, these are your same day tools. I want to get through them. These are important. Okay, so here's your power move number 1. Call it early before you sort of disappear and get into shutdown. So you can tell, like I could say to you, Tim, I'm at a 7 out of 10 right now. If we keep going right now, I'm going to shut down. Say it. I actually say it. I'm at a 7 out of 10. If we keep doing this right now, I'm trying to get dinner on the table. I am going to shut down. Okay. So request structure. That's what you do. You request structure, like one issue, 10 minutes, then we take a break and we can do this later. One issue. Let's talk for 10 minutes. And sometimes you got to put a timer on. We'll look at our watches. And then we've got to take a break. All right. Your power move number 2. This is a 3-step repeat. Okay. Takes 90 seconds. I want you to exhale longer than you inhale. I talk about this all the time. This is the physiologically changing through breath. What we want are these physiological, more calm feelings in our body, calming our nervous system. So take that in breath in, 2 sips at the top, the big breath out. Make sure that exhale is longer than you inhale. Okay. Number 1. Number 2, work on getting grounded. Okay. I want you to feel your feet on the floor. You press your toes into the floor. Name 5 objects you can see. Now, this is what we do in grounding techniques for people who have anxiety and panic. All right. It works here as well. All right. So these are grounding techniques. Feel your feet, feel your toes, all 5 of your toes on the floor. And I want you to name 5 objects you can see. This can help you not go into shutdown. All right. Number 3, you're going to orient. Look to the left, look to the right, slowly, like you're scanning a room. This tells your nervous system, I'm not trapped. We're not trapped. Okay. So look left, start looking left, slowly scan yourself to look to the right. Your body won't go into shutdown because it's like, oh, we're not trapped. We're good. We're safe. We're fine. All right. Next power move. Body first, story second. All right. So when you shut down, don't debate the content. Your brain just can't. It just can't. All right. So always do your body first. It's water. It's getting protein, which I've talked about with anxiety. Getting in that water, getting in that protein, making sure you go to the bathroom, making sure that you're taking care of what your body needs, like peeing, making sure you move your bowels, getting movement, moving your body, getting outside, fresh air. Okay. So you're not bad. Most of us are not bad at communicating. We're just under-resourced. Or going into these conversations, these situations with people under-resourced because we haven't had enough water today. We haven't eaten really life-giving, nutritious foods. We're low on most of us are low on our protein. I've said that before. We're not, urinating because we're not drinking enough water. Our microbiome, our gut's messed up, and maybe we're constipated. We're dealing with some gut issues. I would say you go see a GI doc and work on getting that taken care of. We're not moving our bodies enough. Get outside, get on a treadmill, walk, 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 and get some fresh air. Even this freezing cold weather out here, just go stand outside for 5 minutes. All right. Okay.
or 1 minute.
Yeah. Or 1 minute. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So your next power move, give your brain a script. Give it a script. All right. So shutdown. When we get in shutdown, it steals our language. It takes our language away from us, right? So write out and journal this. Pre-write 3 sentences for yourself. So because when you write it down, you'll say this, like, I'm shutting down right now. I'm going to start shutting down. I need a break. That's that. I'm a 7 out of 10. We can't keep doing this. I'm not refusing you, baby. Like Tim, I call you baby. Like, I'm not refusing you, baby, right now. I'm not refusing this conversation. I'm just trying to regulate myself.
Yeah.
Okay. And you could understand that.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not personal to you. Like I'm not listening or I'm not listening, but I'm not refusing you personally. I can't tolerate this right now. Let's pick this up at another time. Let's pick this up at 10 o'clock tonight. Maybe 10 o'clock is fine for you.
If you're awake.
And then maybe you don't go to bed at 10.
Yeah.
But let's pick this up tomorrow morning at 7. We wake up before we go to work, or let's pick this up. I'll call you on my lunch hour. Let's talk on the phone. For some people, that's really helpful. Getting some time away and then talking on the phone, not being face to face. I find that those conversations sometimes really help couples. Okay. So you've got some distance. Your next power move is time box the repair. So I can do 15 minutes right now, and then we have to take a break. So time box it. And this is really important. So put a timer on it so that you're not having these endless 45 minutes later, an hour later, we're still talking about it. Now we're going in circles and now we're really getting nowhere. All right. So time limits for certain individuals who get shut down, it does create safety. It's a safety of, because you're not being boxed in. If there's a time box, you know that it will end. All right. The next power move is I want you to ask one grounding question. Okay. So when you're blank, your mind is blank. Don't try to explain everything. Ask one question like, what's one thing you need me to understand? What's one thing, Tim, you need me to understand right now? That's a great question.
Yeah.
Because it has you going, oh yeah, okay, what's my point? What is my point?
Yeah.
And sometimes I've said to you, and I haven't really asked it that way, but I've said to you, what's one thing, or what is your point? What point do you want me to take away from this?
Yeah.
And it's good because it makes, you could say, kind of makes you like think like, what's the point? I think
Well,
this conversation's ending. I want her to get this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're talking takeaways. That's helpful, right? Like if there's one thing to take away or there's one thing like on your punch list, right?
Right.
What is that?
Right.
And I think it's also good to ask that question semi-early, because then if you're bringing 12 things to the table, it's like, okay, well, let's focus on something,
Right.
not focus on many things.
Right.
Right.
Right. Or what's the goal of this conversation? I love that.
Yeah.
So what's the goal of this conversation? We're repairing something. Is this a decision we need to make, or are you just venting? I love that. We don't say just repair, but we'll say decision or venting to each other. Like, what's the goal of this? And I'll say, I just need to vent. And because then you're like, oh, okay. All right. She just needs to vent. I'm fine. I'm here for that. I can listen to her. I just need to vent about something. It's usually not with you personally. You know what I mean? Like, rarely. I need to vent about, it's rare. Well, it is rarely. Like, I just need to vent about something.
Yeah.
Or you sometimes will need to vent about things. It's like, okay, that's fine. I need to make a decision. That's the two of us usually involved, but let me talk. I need help with making this decision. Sometimes it's with work. Sometimes it's our personal life, and we'll do that together. Okay. But it does help when we know, like, what's the goal of this right now? Right. Okay. So those are your power moves. And I want to talk briefly about what do you do when you're talking to somebody who's getting shut down with you. Okay. This part is really important, because sometimes it's like you're talking to somebody and you're watching it happen right in front of you. Okay. So what do you need to do? You need to lower your pace, bring your volume down. You may not realize that your volume went up. You need to stick to one topic with that person. Okay. Because they're getting flooded and overwhelmed. You need to use curiosity. Let's go back. Be curious. And you need to validate the state. I can see you're getting overwhelmed. I can see, well, you look like you're getting shut down. Are you getting shut down? There's your curiosity in there too. Okay. Yeah. Don't follow them room to room. Don't do that. That's the worst thing. Don't follow them around, talking. Don't demand eye contact from them. Don't interrogate. All right. Don't stack your complaints. That's
there you go.
I think we know this. right now after the end of this episode. Don't use absolutes. You always, you never. Okay, you know why I'm going to say this. This is like psychology 101. This is communication 101. Don't use you statements. Don't say you, you, you. You want to get somebody defensive. You want to get their back up against a wall and you want to watch that conversation shut down like that. Then keep saying you.
Yeah.
Don't use you. Say,
Yeah.
I think, I feel.
Yeah.
This is what I perceive. Okay.
I think for me, it's when I hear the word never or always, then I'm like, okay, pause. Whoever is saying
Yeah.
it to me, like
Those are absolute
you're not
statements.
accurate. You're not,
Yeah.
or you're already off.
You can rarely use always or never.
I mean,
right?
hardly ever. Hardly ever.
Yeah. Right. So here's some
Yeah.
here's some scripts or some sentences that might work for you. I'm not leaving. I want to solve this. Let's take a 20-minute break and come back. And I've said that and I've said that on repeat in this episode because it's that important. You're allowed to take breaks. I think that's something we didn't learn in relationships. We are allowed to take breaks when things are getting spicy, when things are getting intense emotionally. You can take breaks. I think we all need to give ourselves permission and give our partners permission to take breaks and then come back. Okay. You could ask this person that you're watching them and they're sort of getting shut down in front of you. What would make this feel safer for you? Slower, shorter. Should I write it out? Do you want to talk tomorrow? Okay. But just like what would make you feel safer? Because I see you look like you're shutting down. I don't want you to shut down. I don't mean for you to shut down. What would make this feel safer for you? Do you know how wonderfully safe that person's going to feel? The fact that you just asked them that question?
Sure.
Most people.
Yeah, for sure.
You observed something and you called it out in a safe way. Like, I see you look like you're getting shut down. What can I do to make this conversation safer? Because I think we have to have this conversation. And what can I do? And maybe it's not right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And that's delaying gratification. And you could say, if your person's getting shut down, I want to try to connect with you on this. This is not a verdict. There's no verdict here. This is not an attorney.
It's a process.
It's a process.
Yeah.
I would like a connection. I just want this process. Let's do this process.
Yeah.
If you said that to me, like, Anna, I'm just trying to get a connection with you on this. I just want to talk. This is a process here. I would respond to that.
Yeah.
Versus getting my back up and feeling like, you want to come at me with some sort of statement, which is a verdict.
Yeah.
That's not going to go well. And it doesn't go well for most people.
For me, I think the biggest takeaway in this entire episode is quantifying this conversation at the beginning.
Right.
Right? Like being
Yes.
super clear, super transparent. Like if you're able to do that, if that's a skill you can master in life, wow.
I've had clients when they're starting to do this work together, whether it was couples or when I work with my individuals now, teaching them how to let their partner know that they're starting to get shut down.
Yeah.
Like my client's a person who is getting flooded. They're starting to shut down. How do you sort of signal to your partner, to your spouse, to whoever it is, your kid, whoever it is, your sibling, I'm starting to get shut down here. And for us first to know it in our bodies and what it feels like, because we're familiar with it. We've just really never put thoughts and words to it before, but many of us are familiar with what goes on with shutdown. We just need to take the time to slow it down and go, oh yeah, this is what my body does.
Yeah.
I start to get like that weird feeling in my stomach. My shoulders get tense, my neck hurts. That's me shutting down. And to know that ahead of time. So those are your yellow flags, your warning system's going up.
Yeah.
Telling you that you're going into a red flag suit. I'm starting to get shut down.
Yeah.
And so that's really important work for you to do as an individual, and then to share it with a person in your life about what it's like for me when I start to get shut down, and to share that with the person. Okay, so we need to either table this right now and come back and talk, later this morning, or okay, I'll back up. What can I do to help you feel safer right now?
Yeah.
That's that curiosity and that's that question. Let's say from you to me.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Makes sense.
All right, everybody. This was a long one. This is a really important topic, though. It's shutdown, and how many of us have been through this and are going through this in our lives now. As always, thank you for all of your subscriptions and your rates and reviews. And please continue to do it. If you haven't done it yet, it literally takes 10 seconds. And if you want to work with me, you can find the Calendly link in the show notes, and let's get on my schedule and let's do a discovery call together, and let's see how I can help you. Okay. Mad love, everyone.